It's incredible how one decision can make a film that's pretty mediocre just go to bad so quickly. Sweet Girl, just to give you a heads up, I'm going to lean into spoilers in this review, but you also just shouldn't really mind that. You'll understand why as I review this. So in Sweet Girl, we've got Jason Mamoa, who's obviously the big name of this movie, and the film mainly follows him and his daughter. The start into this movie was solid. I thought it was really, really good. So his wife is dying with cancer. It turns out that there is an experimental treatment happening. His daughter says, you know, there's a new drug coming out and we can get your wife on board for it. And there's a fair amount of time. And there's a fair amount of time spent at the start of this movie setting up the bond that Jason Mamoa has with his wife and his daughter, and obviously his daughter and her mum, only for it all to crumble away. And it was quite heartfelt. I thought they'd done a really nice job with that, and it really set up what would be a revenge story, which seemed to be what this film was going to be. Just want to say in particular, one of the moments Jason gets the news, and it's just heartbreaking. You know when you just see a big guy just fall down and just break down? It fucking hits you. And that moment lasted, it didn't overstay its welcome, but it was that way where it was more than you'd expect. And it just made it sit with you. So where did the film go from here to get the ratings it's got? I'm going to tell you. What effectively happens is, this company that are putting out the drug just recall it indefinitely. His wife's inevitably going to die because she can't get the treatment he wants. Now Jason Mamoa is going on to get revenge with his daughter. So the revenge portion of this, it's effectively him versus Big Pharma. Now it's no surprise, no secret that they probably do some shady shit. You know, it's a business, it's all about the money, it's not about the people in most instances. I'm not on the inside, I can't say for sure. So when they go after somebody and they find him, he just gives them another name that's higher up the chain. And it just continues like that. You know, they're trying to find the target, you know, but there's always a bigwig up the chain. You can't just go straight to the top. So when his wife was dying and he got the news that this drug was getting recalled, he phoned into the television when, you know, one of the CEOs of the company was on it and threatened him. Said, you've killed my wife, I'm going to come for you. Now we cut 2 years later. What ends up happening is someone gets in touch with him because of this, who has information. They're like an independent investigator, and they find out all the shady dealings, all the bribery, all this going on. Very unfortunately for these characters, a hitman comes and takes out the investigator. Jason Mamoa has a fight with him. So now Jason's going after this CEO, but with him going for this CEO, firstly, he kills some people. He's constantly been depicted as a really good guy and a good dad, but he's murdering people without a problem. There's no remorse on him whatsoever. Show a little bit of the heart there. Show a little bit of the flaw that you didn't want to kill, but you had to. He doesn't seem like he minds. So he goes after the next name, and this hitman, the both of them are getting involved, because it turns out this hitman is after anyone who could implicate the company. The fight scenes are pretty sweet, I'll give it that. There's some pretty good fight scenes in here. One thing I will say that movies don't do enough, he punches a guy in the balls. I'm not gonna lie, if I ever got into a fight or someone jumped me, I am going straight for the bollocks, because that's going to put a guy down immediately, and it's a very effective move to make on a guy. So it's really nice to see that and hear a guy getting punched in the bollocks. And you're starting to see that he's not too fatherly. The film doesn't do a good job of balancing him having to do this and he feels the revenge. What was set up at the start of the movie was all well and good, but it's not carried out. It's as though they set it up and just thought that's enough for every viewer to understand his motivation. Now there's a big twist in here. So the film opens with Jason Momoa on the edge of a building ready to jump off it, and the police have caught him and he's cornered. Turns out he died at the very start of this movie when he was fighting with the hitman. He died then, so the whole movie's actually been his daughter carrying out all these actions. I know they're trying for like a really good twist in here, but it just doesn't work. You know, it's almost like they were going for a Sixth Sense kind of thing, but then when you start, you know, thinking back of the movie and you look at it, you know, retroactively, a lot of the scenes just aren't making sense. And she is a lot more badass than she should be. You know, the fight scenes that Jason Mamoa was in, she's in. It even does cutbacks to demonstrate this, that she was the one taking part in them. And she's then taking down all these kind of big guys, these trained killers. I can believe it when it's Jason Mamoa because he's a big dude. She's not even up to his shoulder, and she's apparently doing the same things. And that reveal, Jason Momoa's dead, and it's the daughter been carrying out the whole time. That happens, and then there's another about 20 minutes left of the movie. So it's like it blows its load way too early, and then has to finish the act. And that just, oh, you're just left bored at that point. You know, it's paced up until that reveal, it's paced pretty well, I'll give the movie that. In regards to its action and its journey and, you know, gathering all the information, that's fine. But then it goes and spunks its load, and then we're left just watching nobody but the daughter for the last bit of the movie, because we know that it's her now. And sure, there's a couple of good action scenes in here, but you can't help for the last like 20 minutes of this just asking yourself, what about this scene that took place? You know, there's a scene in a diner. How was that just her at the moment? You know, the fight scenes, there's a one in a hotel. You're just constantly thinking back to them and wondering how the fuck she managed to do that. And also the interactions between him and her. What the fuck happened in those moments if he was not even there for them? And that just absolutely spoils this film. I know they were trying to do something really cool. Yeah, there was a couple of little calls to it. You know, you could have seen it coming. I personally didn't. And you can't just write it off as her conscience or, you know, her just thinking about them or imagining them, because they interact with each other. So it doesn't quite make sense when you think back. I don't know what they were thinking, because I was wondering, and it was only right before the reveal that I realised something was amiss, because the opening to it with the police talking to Jason Mamoa in the kind of top of the stadium before he jumps, it's then differently played out. First I thought it was the movie just not being consistent, but it turns out it was her, but it also wasn't consistent, because some of the things they've said would have still been the same. But look, I'm going to say there's a cameo in here. I just had me laughing. You might appreciate this as well. There's a guy in this that is the real life version of the twin from Outlast. Tell me I'm wrong. The action in this was quite good. It was gritty, you felt the punches. The story was very mundane. It was a one-man army going against Big Pharma. Turns out it was his daughter all along, which then just raises a fuck ton more questions than it tried to answer. And I really would not be watching this again. I don't even think I'll remember this movie. The characters weren't well rounded here. And it's unfortunate, and especially for the daughter, because you follow Jason Mamoa for most of the movie. By the time the reveal happens and it's her, you don't feel that invested in her, yet we're made to follow it for the next 20 minutes or so. Yes, she's lost both her parents, but we were experiencing the revenge through kind of Jason Momoa's eyes, and, you know, we felt for him. So for us to then just suddenly kind of lift our kind of emotional investment from him and apply it onto her, that doesn't work. Where I'm landing here is, if you have the time to watch this, use that time to go and do anything else. So look, that was some of my thoughts on Sweet Girl. Have you seen it? Do we agree or disagree? Please do let me know down below. And whilst you're there, I've got so much more in the pipeline to come out. Hit subscribe, you'll see it all coming out as it does. But thank you so much for watching.